Hello, I'm excited to show you some of the features from Ally, an accessibility tool that integrates into Canvas. So Ally performs three main functions. It scans for and identifies accessibility issues. It walks you through how to fix the issues, and it even provides accessible formats of a variety of file types. So let's take a look at this page in Canvas for some examples of Ally's features. So first we have this image in the top section of the page. It has an Ally indicator, this red meter in the bottom left corner of the image. So that tells me this image might not be very good in terms of accessibility. Now, if I click on it, then I can see a short description of the problem. So in this case, the image is missing alt text. And we provide alt text so that someone who can't see the image can at least get a short description of what the image is. So luckily, I can add the alt text right here through Ally. Right, so it might not be the best alt text, but what's really great is that Ally actually provides resources here for how to write good alt text and also why this even matters. So I'm going to go ahead and add my alt text. And what we can see is that my red indicator is now green. So that means that the problem is solved. So I feel pretty good about myself. One thing I do want to point out is that only instructors see these indicators. So your students aren't seeing red, orange, or green meters. It doesn't appear at all from their side of things. But it's just a nice way to kind of check if there's some extra steps that you can take to make your course more accessible. So let's scroll down the page. And you can see that I have a few files linked in. Two of those files have indicators alerting me to some problems. But I want to pause for a minute and mention that one file doesn't have an indicator. That doesn't mean that this file is free of problems. What it probably means is that there weren't any major problems. So Ally is still a relatively new tool. There are pieces that are still in development, and they're still in the process of writing the feedback and tutorial pieces for some of the more minor problems. So once that feedback piece is enabled, and that feedback is what shows up when we click on the icon or on the indicator, then the indicator will display. Right now, it's kind of silly to have you click on an indicator if it's not going to provide you any guidance. So in some cases, don't be confused if you don't see an indicator on an image or a file. It just might be the longer you use Ally, you'll eventually see an indicator appear. So right now, I'm just relieved that I don't have a red indicator next to it. That at least tells me the major issues shouldn't be of concern with that file. So again, I'm going to click on the indicator to find out what the problem is. All right, and so again, it's telling me this document doesn't have headings. I can find out what exactly that means. And so headings kind of actually give our document structure. Many people will use bold or larger font when they need to be marking something as a heading. So again, Ally will provide a little tutorial for you. And they'll also explain how to add headings. So in this case, because we're working with a Microsoft Word document, I'll actually need to go into Microsoft Word and make those changes to my document. And then I can re-upload it and hopefully have a green indicator next to my document. But these are all really simple things. As you can see, you have all of the tools you need to add headings right in Word. And again, not only does it tell you how to do it, it provides advice for how to do it well. So super, super great in that it's a tool, but it's also an educational resource. Um, so now there's some cases where maybe you can't fix the problem. Maybe it's a PDF and you don't have editing abilities to change the PDF. This is where that third feature of Ally comes in that's really exciting. And that's the ability to create accessible formats, even when you can't edit it. So at the end of the file name, there's this little drop-down menu. It's this little arrow next to the file icon. I'm going to click on it. And I have the ability to download accessible versions. So the formats vary depending on what type of file it is, but here we're given the option of a tagged PDF, HTML version, EPUB version, electronic braille, or audio. So you get to select, or students get to select, which version they would prefer. This is a feature that students have access to. And that's really great because let's say you have a blind student in your class. Screen readers aren't the prettiest. They're not wonderful to listen to. So they might actually, if they read Braille, they might prefer the electronic Braille version. And then that way they can read the assigned reading or the article on a refreshable Braille display. So again, a lot of different options here for how people can access the content. And that flexibility is really oftentimes kind of the heart of accessibility. So as you can see, those features are available for these two files. Doesn't look like it's available for the first file. Not too certain why that is, but again, it's still a new product. They're still doing some development. But hopefully you'll find it useful as you go through your courses. You can find out what the problems are and which ones are more significant than others, and that can help you to prioritize which issues to spend your time fixing. So please do point out to students this ability to access accessible formats. Some of them might enjoy having audio versions of a collection of readings. If they're doing, if they have a long commute time or something and want to be able to listen in the car, the audio version might be really helpful. So that's Ally. As I said, they're still kind of in development, so you might see a few more features pop up the longer you use it. In the meantime, I hope this helps you to make your courses more accessible for students with disabilities and better for all students.